let's jump right into this explainer for Krista Code 607.1. Today we're exploring a deeply fascinating narrative framework, one that literally slices right into the heart of modern digital fatigue. I want you to picture Evelyn. She's a typical 20-something, navigating a vibrant, incredibly detailed, but, let's be real, completely exhausting modern world. She's walking through the crowded hallways of her daily life, constantly dodging gossip, half-finished arguments, and blaring screens. Now, have you ever felt so overwhelmed by the sheer noise of the world that you just went numb? Well, Evelyn feels this deeply. She's dealing with the exact same digital fatigue you might be experiencing right now. You know the feeling. Climate anxiety, endless doom scrolling, the crushing weight of a million screaming headlines. Underneath all of that, something heavy just presses on her chest. It's not quite panic, and it's not really sadness either. It's just numbness. Okay, let's dive into this. There's a massive contrast in her world. On one side, you've got the chaotic, exhausting noise of surface life. But Evelyn decides to cut away from the crowd and retreats to an old, unused auditorium, a place the students actually call the crypt. And instead of more chaos, she finds a heavy, electric silence, a perfectly serene, grounded atmosphere. It's a place where those screaming news headlines finally fade out, and you can just feel her shoulders loosen. But it's not just an empty room. Oh no, Evelyn discovers a secret, vibrant reality right below the surface. A perfectly rectangular trapdoor in the stage begins to glow. And we're not talking about some distorted, glitchy cyberpunk thing. It's a slow, breathing, stable red light, a deeply serene, grounded energy. As cold air spills out, she uncovers ancient stone stairs dropping down into the blackness. And, driven by a curious twist in her chest, she descends. Which brings us to Section 1, the Dark Council, a metaphysical conspiracy. Down in this cavern, Evelyn hides behind a stone pillar and just watches. Around a long stone table sit these figures wrapped in smooth ink-like shadows. The air is thick, it's hot, lit by stable, gravity-defying red flames. Make no mistake, this isn't some chaotic monster pit. This is a highly organized, calculated board meeting of cosmic proportions. The core mission of this council is, frankly, chilling. The leader states it plainly: we must do something to prevent recently embodied souls from developing and employing their 7 mystic powers. I mean, that brilliantly illustrates their true, calculated goal, right? They aren't trying to cause chaos just for fun. No, they have a highly specific, coordinated objective, and that is suppressing human potential. So what exactly are they trying to suppress? Well, here are the 7 mystic powers: controlled will, wisdom, caring, mystic skills, creative imagination, mystic senses, and transmutation. This is an absolutely incredible framework for understanding our own hidden capabilities. In this narrative, these aren't just magic tricks. They are dormant soul superpowers that every 20-something like Evelyn naturally possesses, just waiting to be developed. But there's a catch for the council. They are bound by what's called a rule of harm. Serpent, who is one of the more ruthless council members, suggests they should just attack these souls directly, but the leader shuts that down. He explains that attacking innocent youth directly creates way too much karmic sin debt. It would drain their own irreplaceable light. So, because of this special protection, the council has to operate invisibly. They're literally forced to use indirect attacks. And to launch these indirect attacks, they actually manipulate the surface world to do their dirty work. They run an insidious 3-step campaign to convince parents and society of 3 incredibly toxic beliefs. First, that the child has no soul. Second, that the soul does not change, the whole "it's just hormones" or "it's just who they are" excuse. And third, that society isn't responsible for the soul. They basically recruit culture itself to stunt spiritual growth by making us forget we even have a soul to grow. All right, let's move to Section 2, the arsenal of distraction, the 7 painful problems, and see how this builds. Because the council doesn't just rely on bad philosophy. In Chapter 3, the leader actually summons physical manifestations right over the stone table. 7 dark clouds swell into existence. This is their arsenal. These are the 7 painful problems: oppression, misinformation, negative emotions, addictions, fogginess, selfishness, and dissatisfaction. Now, I want you to look closely at this list. These aren't just bad days, right? They aren't random psychological hurdles. In this story, they are weaponized tools deliberately designed to distract, drain, and completely paralyze people like Evelyn. Let's break down exactly how this works in the real world. Oppression isn't just some vague academic concept. It manifests as that crushing paralysis and endless doom scrolling when the world just feels too heavy to fix. It actively destroys your willpower. And misinformation? It isn't just annoying internet noise. It's a deliberate, engineered storm of clickbait and static designed specifically to prevent you from developing true wisdom. And the psychological warfare just continues. Negative emotions, like manufactured online rage and constant envy, those are injected into society specifically to replace genuine caring. Then you have addictions, which in Evelyn's modern world means endless screen swipes, glowing phones, and notifications swarming like insects. These are deployed to completely short-circuit our mystic abilities. So the crucial point is, look at how incredibly relatable these next two are to modern life. Fogginess is that heavy gray weight of bed rotting and creative block. It literally clouds your creative imagination, turning your brain to pure static right when you want to create. Then selfishness sharpens into hundreds of mirrors, trapping you in endless loops of me, which directly blocks your mystic senses and your connection to the wider universe. Finally, we hit the ultimate distraction, weaponized dissatisfaction. This is the hollow chase of impossible standards, heavily filtered vacation pics, and thirst traps where bodies just morph from one impossible ideal to another. This constant, buzzing dissatisfaction actively seeks to destroy the true goal of transmutation. And remember, transmutation is your capacity for genuine, transformative personal growth. Crouched behind a pillar, bathed in that smooth, grounded red light of the cavern, Evelyn listens to the council leader and has a visceral, terrifying realization. You are the target. She realizes that her lost hours, her numbness, that feeling of just shutting down when the world tilts toward disaster, none of it is an accident. It is the direct, intended result of this engineered distraction. The noise was created specifically to keep her from hearing her own power. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today, and I want to leave you with a provocative question. Which of the 7 painful problems is currently distracting you from your own potential? Are you trapped in the gray cloud of fogginess? Are you paralyzed by the chains of oppression while doom scrolling? Seriously, take a moment today to reflect on your own digital habits, because once you see the distraction for what it truly is, you might just be ready to uncover the powers it's trying to hide.